everyone. This is Elliott Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. I don't know. How do you think Fanboy D took our rebuttal to the whole thing? We'll see. We'll see. As we're taping this, I have yet to post our Fanboy D rebuttal, but I will as soon as I get home tonight. But quite a bit has been going on in the world of comics, and we are going to talk about some releases that came out last week, but some other things too, some interesting points, and we're going to, for those of you out there who are into this, although does PM Knight hate it when we talk manga? For somebody...
It was
Demar, you find it painful when we talk manga? Sorry. Well, we'll toughen you up a bit. We actually have some manga books that we're going to talk about for all you manga fans. But anyway, what was the big thing that went down last week in comic books?
And Barack Obama rode to the White House #1.
Yeah.
We're going to spend 6 segments talking about the most important comic book ever to come out.
And I'm going to say something about that. There was some criticism about it. There was some criticism that Barack is just everywhere. And yet, you don't hear that same sort of criticism for all the McCain books that are out there.
Yeah, well, you know what I hated, though, about it was the fact that, what was it, Antarctic Press put that out, or was it, like, Blue Water? Like, when they put out, like, the solicitation, they didn't tell us what it was about.
No.
So we had to just order it. Yeah, exactly.
Order it blind. Well, I will say this, though. It was worth the risk. Because who would have known that Barack Obama...
became president?
Well,
he becomes president. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that there's like a whole secret warehouse making all these Obamas, which explains why he's everywhere. They have, was it the Obama Project or whatever they were calling it? Weapon Obama? Obamix? Obama Inc. In either case, pretty cool. And then after that, after the whole Obama thing...
Well, after that, then Captain America 600.
Captain America number 600
that was
came
the second
out.
most important.
And I gotta say, this should come as a surprise to absolutely no one that they are working towards bringing back Steve Rogers. It's the first step towards the return of Steve Rogers as Captain America. What I have been saying since the beginning. I've been saying since the beginning they were going to bring back Steve Rogers. Shouldn't come as a surprise. Well, you know what does come as a surprise to me? I'm sorry, guys. Those of you who are kind of like whining right now, oh, but Bucky's my Captain America. If Captain America is Steve Rogers again, I'm never reading the book again. Well, guess what? You know what? No one read the book before anyway. No one really read Captain America before. How many times have they rebooted this title with top-notch creators and people just didn't seem to care? And now, finally, Brubaker seems to have hit on a formula, and it's getting mainstream notice.
Yeah, speaking of mainstream notice, all that hubbub about it coming out on Monday it did the jack shit for it. I'll tell you one thing right now. Yeah, this book sold good. We had 1 copy left in the store, and it's Sunday, but we ordered tons of them. Didn't nearly bring in like the people like the death of Captain America. So right now, I'm just going to tell you that nobody cares about somebody coming back to life. Everyone just cares about people dying. Well, somebody had commented on the boards even too when it was Superman Returns. I remember back in the day when the Superman coming back was the big event, and it didn't seem to do the same as the death of Superman did. So you're right. That is a valid point in that death sells. You know. Life doesn't.
Life, no. But anyway, back to the story at hand. Brubaker is already laying the groundwork for the return of Captain America. And for those, if you've been reading the book since the quote-unquote death of Captain America, he dropped little hints here and there. As the story unfolded, Bob Harris, I believe it's Bob Harris, had said that the whole issue of Bucky Barnes being Captain America. It wasn't the intent to keep him as Captain America as long, but that it just seemed to evolve and grow, so they kept him in that role. So for those who are a little bit irked that it looks like Bucky Barnes is finally coming into the role of Captain America, and he's, suddenly going to get it taken from him, I kind of have a feeling that Steve Rogers isn't coming back right away to just jump right back into it.
That's what I think, too. I think that he'll come back, but he's going to let Bucky be Captain America. Yeah. I think. Also, I kind of think that they're kind of bringing back Steve Rogers too early. I know it's been like 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. It still feels like it's too early, though, because no one's really clamoring for it, and like no one really cares. And
I care.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm clamoring.
Anyway, so yeah, I just think it's too early, and it doesn't. The Captain America book has been doing good. It's probably the best it's been in a long time as far as the sales. And I don't know. I can understand. I can sympathize with the people who are kind of pissed that Bucky might not be the Captain America anymore, because the book actually has been pretty good.
The book was good when Steve Rogers was Captain America,
not as good as it is now, though.
Well, that's all subjective.
Well, that is subjective, and I'm going to talk about that, too, in a second.
Because the thing, too, and don't get me wrong, there is something to be said to having Bucky Barnes become Captain America, because it lends a whole new dynamic to the character, the relationships. It's why they decided to switch out Batman like they did. The dynamic, and we'll talk about that in a bit, as far as Dick Grayson being Batman now with Damian as Robin. That does lend a freshness to the character. Same with Captain America. And I'll go back to saying, for how long did people how many times did people ignore Captain America? The title in general, man, you had Mark Waid working on it with Ron Garney. You have some great trades out there. The Operation Rebirth, which to me is one of the top Captain America stories that have been done. One of those iconic stories, like a Fanboy D might refer to. And yet, the book didn't,
That's when I bought it.
Well, that's when we bought it, but the book was never one of the top sellers. One of Marvel's top sellers.
I'll tell you what, though. The last time I bought a Captain America, I actually bought this issue, and it was $5 fucking dollars, and it was not worth $5. Not to me, it wasn't. But I'll tell you one thing: the last Captain America comic that I ever bought was the last issue of the Mark Waid run. That was the last. That was
before Heroes. Oh, no, it
was after.
Yeah,
because he came back onto it. He had like two mini runs, but
you're right.
That was the last time I ever bought a Captain America comic, and I bought this because Mark Waid actually has a story in here. Yeah. I didn't like it very much. It wasn't very good.
It's funny that the Brubaker stuff is the strongest stuff in the whole book.
But that's the problem, because the Brubaker stuff was good, and then I read the Roger Stern story, and I was like, fucking boring. And then I'm like, all right, well, here's the Mark Waid story. This should be pretty good. Not really. It was kind of cool in a just to see this guy selling off his memorabilia, and that there's a Marvel Comics in the Marvel Comics universe, and that was all fanboy stuff, and it was all well and good, but it's just this story for being Captain America number 600 had no Captain America in it.
No, there was
Bucky wasn't. They were training. I mean, there's no Captain America shit going on in Captain America number 600.
There was no Bucky Captain America, because there is Steve Rogers Captain America in there, and on top of that.
Oh, are you talking about the reprint in the back?
And then they have the reprint of the Jack Kirby. I'm not sorry, the Stanley.
Well, that's the only story that Captain America's in, because everyone's just remembering Steve Rogers. Right. It's got nothing to do with Steve Rogers, and that's all well and good. But this is 2 years later.
Right. Well,
this retrospective shit taking place maybe a couple months after he died.
Well, they do that always on the anniversaries. Is the thing. It's the anniversary.
It was just fucking boring, man. it really was. And it's not like I liked the art and everything. It was just So the Brubaker stuff was the strongest stuff. Brubaker actually did something that I didn't think would ever happen. He actually made me care about this Heroes Reborn Bucky, because Heroes Reborn Bucky came back in that fucking abortion of a comic, Onslaught Reborn, that Loban Liefeld did. I'm like, so what's... And that was 2 years ago, too. And finally... And I'm reading this story with her, and I'm like, damn, this is kind of a cool character. And it would be awesome to see her be Bucky's Bucky.
Right.
Like Bucky caps Bucky.
Right.
I think that would be pretty cool. And there's just some cool character moments. And in whatever, like the 6-8 pages that the story took, I actually care about that character and would like to see more of that. Mm-hmm. And that's just the huge. It's a huge. Oh God, I'm so tired. I have to say it's a plus to Brubaker, and it's just I don't know. He just did a good job with it.
He is able. I mean, again, and we've said that there are some writers that seem to be are able to handle certain characters better than others. They're able to build sympathy or empathy with the characters better than others.
And I like the story of the other Captain America too. I thought that was really well done with the Howard Chaykin art.
Well, they're bringing all that together because they have been teasing that character too in the Captain America in the current.
Right, this is the Captain America from the 50s. Right.
And here's another thing too, which I think, and I'll give Marvel credit for this, although I don't know how you feel about it. But this is the last issue of Captain America now, as Reborn, the Reborn miniseries. One more. I'm sorry.
It's Gene Colan's doing the art in Captain America 601.
But when Reborn starts, the main Captain America book won't be running, so people won't be forced to buy 2 Captain America books.
Because
Reborn kind of slides into that slot.
Yeah, Marvel's so gracious to do that to us.
When you look at how many X-Men books and how many Wolverine books there are. How many Deadpool
Dark Reign books, which we'll get to later in Last Rants.
There you go. At least they're doing that. I'll give credit for that. Although, that's kind of very minuscule compared to what else is going on. In either case, I am myself thrilled at this prospect, seeing that it's finally happening. And you know what? To me, seeing this starting to happen means soon all this Dark Reign crap is going to be over soon. Oh, well, not soon, but it's the light at the end of the tunnel, as they say.
Yeah.
Because right now,
really.
You know what? I'll tell you, Bucky Barnes needs Steve Rogers back in his life. Because Bucky Barnes right now, as Captain America, I know everyone loves him. He ain't all that. He's not the leader he should be. And God knows the new Avengers can't deal with Hawkeye being in the lead. Clint Barton is, I just remember, I was thinking over this past week over how this quote-unquote leadership of Clint Barton's is. West Coast Avengers? Mm-hmm. Really? The dynamic force that those guys were, overshadowed by the champions half the time?
I like the West Coast Avengers.
They're okay, although, Clint Barton, really, he needs to step aside and let a real leader. Even let Luke Cage be in charge again.
Yeah, but you know what? When you have a bad writer writing the leader, that's why it's shit.
No.
I don't blame the character.
Well,
he shouldn't even be Ronin. Let's not get into this. This is because it's ridiculous, because that character is just fucked up beyond belief now.
That's true. You're right. So, we both enjoyed Captain America 600. I'm happy to see Steve Rogers coming back. Although, for all you Bucky fans, I don't think this is going to be the end of James Bucky Barnes as Captain America, at least not at the end of Reborn.
No, I think he'll stay on for a while as Captain America.
And go from there. When we come back, we'll talk about another book that we really, really enjoy. You'll find out. See you then.